Hello everyone, and welcome to the video. My name is Brady, and I'm a certified collision technician. If this is the first time that you're watching one of my videos or have never heard of who I am, well, that's not a surprise. Unless you're my mom and watch every single one of my videos, and if that's the case, hi Mom. Or possibly someone that has been stalking me through other social media platforms and continues to send messages to me about wanting to be friends, even though I repeatedly say that I don't want any more friends in my life. If neither of them is you, then thanks for deciding to click on this video and give it a watch. I do hope it provides an entertainment of some sort, and if anything else, shows you what a Tesla technician does on a day-to-day basis. If you don't care about how Teslas are repaired, then I advise you to stop watching. But if you could, give this video a thumbs up before you leave. That would be awesome. This 2022 Model S took a shot on the liftgate. Either someone behind them didn't brake quick enough and was able to only hit the liftgate and avoid the rear bumper somehow, or, what's a more likely scenario, they were backing into their garage and were relying on the parking sensors to alert them when they got too close to the garage wall, but didn't account for the sensors not being able to detect a children's Costco basketball hoop that sits just above the parking sensors, and they backed right into it. But who's to say what really happened? I'm just speculating. Now, before starting this repair, it's important to remove any parts that are in contact with the damaged panel and to inspect them for imperfections. Sometimes there can be hidden damage or micro cracks on these parts that you really wouldn't be able to find until removing them from the car. Although some could argue that certain damages wouldn't be caused or related to said accident, it's still necessary to take note of any imperfections in case they could be related. But that's between the customer and their insurance company and what they say is part of the accident. Not something I have any say in. I just fix cars and try to remind myself that I love my job. Right? Question mark. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, well, Brady, why go through all this hassle of completely gutting the liftgate just to fix a dent? That's so much extra work. All you need to do is tape everything off. It'd be way faster, less intrusive, and a better repair. Although I do agree it would be a lot faster, you will shortly see later in this video that if I didn't remove the interior trim, for instance, well, let's just say it has flammable material and I'm the last person that needs to be setting an electric vehicle on fire. And yes, that does mean I will be using fire to help with this repair. Now to start this disassembly off, first the interior trim panel is removed. It's a pretty easy one. Just snug your fingers underneath one side of it and give it a good yank. The clips that hold it onto the vehicle are designed to be an easy release, and 9 times out of 10, they won't break on you. Then disconnect the liftgate opener button and the interior light from the back side. Then you'll grab a drill with an 8mm socket attachment and start removing the nuts that hold the reverse lights onto the gate. There are 3 nuts that hold each lamp assembly on. One is on the inside of the liftgate, and the other 2 are on the outer edge of the liftgate. Once those have been removed, you can disconnect the 2 lamps from the wire harness. A quick and easy pinch of the fingers will release the tabs on the pigtail, and that will allow it to disconnect. Next, start unscrewing the 3 25T torque screws that hold on the black Tesla trim piece. Before removing that trim piece, go inside the liftgate and locate the reverse camera wire connector. Use a small pick tool to release the tab that holds the connector together. Be pretty gentle with this one. It does have a tendency to break. Now grab your favorite plastic trim tool and slowly start prying away at the black trim piece on the liftgate. If terribly sounding noises start to happen and every time you pull the trim piece it sounds like it's cracking in half, don't be alarmed. That's just the tabs being separated from their slots. It's a pretty tight fit. Also, there will be some resistance due to double-sided tape holding this trim piece on. But once that has been removed, you can now remove the trim piece carrier that sits behind it. That piece pops off pretty easy. To get the double-sided tape off that was left behind, you can use a rubber wheel attachment. Mine attaches straight to the drill, and I love this tool. It cleans the double-sided tape off really easily, and it really doesn't leave any residue behind. And the same goes for the T-badge. Just use a plastic trim tool piece, get underneath it, and kind of pry it off. And then use your rubber wheel attachment to get that double-sided tape off. And then lastly, grab some adhesive remover cleaner, sprinkle it on a microfiber towel, and then give the liftgate a good quick rub down. Call me a pyro, but who doesn't love playing with fire? Any chance that I get to use some version of fire is a win in my book. I remember back in Boy Scouts learning how to create the perfect fire. We always used the TP method, or I guess to be politically correct now, the cone-shaped method. Yeah, it did the job, but always took way too long. And being a young, impatient boy, I tended to lean towards that beautiful bottle of lighter fluid, and I would douse that fire until a massive ball of fire engulfed the favorited cone-shaped teepee. Anyway, these lift gates are made of aluminum, or if you are from the overseas, aluminium. In order to have any chance of moving this metal back into its original shape, heat must be applied. Without heat, aluminum will crack, and that is a big no-no. Some technicians will use a heat gun instead of a torch, but let's just say patience is a trait I haven't quite acquired yet. Once the panel is at a proper temperature, then you can start adding the glue tabs. Glue pulling isn't something new, but is always a learning process. Every panel tells a different story when it comes to the way you repair it. Some dents will pop right back into place, and others will fight you the entire way. Thankfully, with some experience, a little bit of luck, and repetition, I've been able to figure out the best way to glue pull aluminum, or at least it seems to work for me. Or maybe, and what's probably the most likely, I just get lucky on every repair. After the metal has been pulled back into its original shape, the panel then gets sanded down to bare metal using an 80 grit DA sander. Then you spread a medium to light coat of body filler, making that spread going slightly over the feathered edge of the paint so that there will be a smooth transition going from the body filler to the paint. Once that is dried, start block sanding the filler with 150 grit and working your way up to 320 grit. Give it a nod of confirmation and ship it to paint. This 2024 Model Y has, in my opinion, one of the best paint colors that Tesla currently offers. Midnight Cherry Red. I believe they updated the color in 2022, but don't quote me on that. This cherry red is so much deeper and vibrant. It almost looks black in the shade, but a beautiful metallic red in the sunlight. If you've ever seen the older version of Tesla's red paint color, it almost looks orangey and just flat and basic. Whoever told Elon to update this color better have gotten a significant raise or at least one free ride on SpaceX. A lot of people don't fully understand how a collision repair shop works. Most assume that once their vehicle has been dropped off, we immediately start working on it, and it only takes about 20 minutes to fix the damage and another 20 minutes to repaint the vehicle. That what us technicians do really doesn't take that long and should probably only be a 1 to 2 day process at most. Now, that may be a slight exaggeration, but it does seem like people's expectations for really anything in life, especially when it comes to their vehicle, should be a somewhat quick turnaround. What they don't know is that, yes, once their vehicle has been dropped off, we are able to look at it and inspect the damages, but we can only look, not touch. We are unable to remove anything from the vehicle until we get an approval letter from that person's insurance company saying, in a very general way, what we will be repairing on that vehicle. Then we can start disassembling that vehicle, remove all the damaged parts, and possibly locate some hidden damage that the insurance company wasn't expecting. But before I can start repairing any of the damages, we have to wait for another approval letter from the insurance company that allows us to make these repairs. Now, I'm not trying to dog insurance companies and their lack of effort with everything they do, but I will say certain insurance companies, especially ones that have a small green talking lizard in their commercials, they are the worst. They are the worst to work with, and they are the slowest to make any approvals. That may sound a little harsh, and yes, I can agree with you on that. But someone much more famous than me said a quote about telling the truth, and this is what it says. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. If that sounds familiar to you, it comes from one of the greatest rappers to ever live, Dr. Seuss. And fun fact, him and I share the same birthday. Now that this Model Y is starting to get disassembled and the rear bumper has come off very gracefully, I might add, we do find some hidden damage on the quarter extension panel. It isn't all that bad, but because it is made of aluminum, it will end up having to get replaced instead of repaired. If it was made of steel, then I would 100% be fixing it. Since the quarter panel is made up of steel, that panel will be getting repaired along with the rear bumper, which is obviously just made of plastic. And just like that Model S that you saw earlier with the liftgate, the interior trim panels and any other components inside of the quarter panel will have to be removed. That will give me full access behind the panel, which makes it a lot easier to metalwork all the dents out. Also, the new lower quarter extension panel comes painted black from the factory. That's just the standard E-coat paint that they use. Having all the interior trim removed will allow me to paint the inner portion of that extension panel once it has been installed. If it didn't get painted on the inside, then the repair wouldn't look OEM. And that's always the goal as a technician. You don't want the next person who will be working on this vehicle to have any idea that it has been previously repaired. Teslas are like basic math. Just hear me out. In grade school, you start with addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. Those methods work great. can be utilized in almost every daily math scenario you may encounter, and is pretty easy to work with. But then as you go throughout school, you learn that math becomes more complicated. Pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, statistics, trigonometry, and so on. All are great methods of math to solve a problem and create a solution. But are they really necessary? I'm no math wizard and am definitely not trying to pretend that I am, but other car manufacturers tend to skip basic math. They like to overcomplicate the way vehicles are built and designed. Gone are the days that the average Joe can wrench on his car in the garage while blaring some Nickelback or Creed. Not only do you need to have a vast knowledge of the vehicle you're repairing, but you also would need specialty equipment and tools in order to properly work on that vehicle. I'm not saying that you don't need special tools for Teslas, but what I am saying is that the way they are built and designed to come apart and worked on by technicians is way different than most car manufacturers. I'm not encouraging you to start ripping apart your Tesla and possibly have something go wrong. That would be terrible, and I don't want that on my conscience. But I would love to see other car manufacturers start leaning towards the way Tesla has made their vehicles more technician friendly. If you are the owner of a Tesla and recently just got into an accident, or if you're just a really proactive person and want to know where a Tesla service center is, feel free to contact me either by email or through my social media accounts, which I will link down below. In the past, I've had the pleasure of working on a few of my subscribers' Teslas, and it was one of the coolest and most unique experiences I've had. To be able to connect to a random stranger and help them in what can be a very stressful time of their life. Being in a car crash can be a life-changing event, so just knowing that they had put their trust in me to make their vehicle look brand new again, well, it really meant a lot. Even if you don't personally own a Tesla but know someone who does, please share my information with them so that they can save it for the future. We are located in Portland, Oregon, and I normally don't like to toot my own horn, so I will toot my shop's horn. We know what we are doing, and we are very good at what we do. We can basically do anything to your vehicle, whether it be body repair, paint repair, mechanical work, or even if you just want a very professional detail done. Our company has one goal, and it's to produce the highest quality repairs possible. Again, you can either email me or DM me on my Instagram for more information. Hopefully this hasn't been coming across throughout the entire video, but this is the first time I have recorded a voiceover on a YouTube video, or really any video of that matter. To say that I've been nervous about doing this would be an understatement. I didn't realize it was possible to get stage fright while sitting in a chair alone at home talking into your iPhone. If my voice and terrible sarcasm has made it feel awkward during this video, I do apologize and just want you to understand that I feel 10 times more awkward doing this than you feel listening to me talk. My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, and that's okay. A goal of mine for this year was to push myself out of the comfort zone and really test the limits of what I can do this year. I'm sure that for most of you, recording your voice would be a walk in the park, and you wouldn't have any second thoughts about it. But let's just say that this is now my 12th recording for this video, and if I had to guess, I will probably have another 12 more attempts at this before I can be somewhat okay with the result. If you've made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you and your support, and I want to offer you something. I wish I could offer you some sort of discount on a product, but since my channel is extremely small and doesn't get many views, all I can offer you is a promise. I promise you that I may or may not upload another YouTube video again. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Or not.